Namaskaram. Welcome to Atharva Forum. Today we are very happy to welcome Shri Keshav Venkataraghavan, who is a eminent painter and artist who has had a very interesting and long journey from being a cartoonist to offering Krishna every day to the world through his paintings. We're going to have a long conversation with him. I'm extremely fortunate to have this opportunity to talk with him today. I take this opportunity to welcome you, Shri Keshav.
Namaste. Very happy to be in this forum. Thanks very much for giving me the opportunity.
I read one of your interviews where you have spoken about your days of an artist who was producing cartoons every day for a daily newspaper, and you said something very interesting. You said facts are sacred. Yes. And there is liberty in opinion, in commenting, but it should not go beyond facts because facts are sacred. And from fact, there has been a journey towards truth, towards an idea of truth that you gift the world every day through your paintings of Krishna in Krishna For Today, which is your commitment, your what you do every day is you make a painting and Instagram, Twitter. Is it also on Facebook?
Yes, it's on Facebook. Yes.
Yeah. So this long journey just seems very fascinating because it actually brings together two very different worlds as we see today. And so we can start with that. Could we start by asking you to talk about your early days of how you came into painting?
My mother would say I started my drawing even before I knew the alphabet. So this is my language. Drawing is my language. It's a visual art which knew without any planning. You just had to draw. I like to draw, so I drew. That's all. And slowly what happened is when growing up during the school days in Hyderabad, I was in Hyderabad for about 15 years. My schooling was there. And that is where you go and meet people. My drawing master was there in Central School, and I learned a lot from him. And another thing is magazines, particularly the Illustrated Weekly, which used to have portions of architecture, art, design, modern art, contemporary art, and so many things that we do not know, and we did not have any exposure to such arts. So that was the beginning of my venturing into so many folk arts, Madhubani, Pahadi art, and those kind of things. And then the Rangoli. So nothing for art, it is all inclusive. Anything which you see, anything which you can draw. That was how it began. So you just, I used to jump up the window, watch the road, and then whoever was going the rickshaws or something that we were drawing. So whatever we saw, we drew. That's how it began. Studies as a parallel was going on, but this drawing also continued along without leaving a bit. So the practice was there all through. And slowly my father was transferred to Madras sometime in the 70, 75, 76. And from then on, I delved into art much more. Like I used to go to the libraries because we didn't have this kind of facility then. We had to approach the libraries. And for the local libraries, we had a lot of writing there. And there was no plates like we have in the British or American books where discussed Renaissance, and there are a lot of plates that we could see and see the difference of approach, because we did not know. It is not modern art for us. It is learning the anatomy, the painting, the technique. And I did not know anything about oil painting, watercolors, and all that. Whatever I got from the store, that stationery store, small boxes,
Mm.
and pencils. In fact, the seriously art materials I bought only after my 30s and 40s. Until then, we never, some pencil was there. We used to draw behind the calendars, visiting cards. So these are the type. Never got any books exclusively for drawing and all that. I didn't even think it was important. But here, after coming to Madras, uh, I fortunately I was trained in Ananda Vikatan. I sent some of my works. Mr. Sridhar, who was the editor there, Bharanidharan, whom we call, he introduced me into direct sketching.
Okay.
So that was the beginning of my sketching directly, say from the Music Academy or Krishna Sabha and all. It was the tradition of Mali and others who started this as a practice session. So in Chennai, the music season it begins. Then there is an exhibition in near the marina and the cricket in January. This is the system we had. So there in Chepauk we used to go and we sketch in the pavilion. So we used to meet them directly, sketch from the all of the players. They used to walk back, see the sketches. They used to sit for me and all. It was a good idea. See, that is how the direct sketching will teach you anatomy, teach
Mm.
you the lines, because that is where we learn the lines, because it has to be fast. And my guru used to say, the lines are the truth. Because you cannot, if you draw something from memory, it is not the truth. You have to stick to what you see. That is why in Paris and all, when they sketch, they go for blind sketching. Despite that, the lines may not come together. But still, that is the truth. So they used to look at the person and draw without seeing the paper. So that was how much sacred the line was. Because when you sketch from life, it means the bhava should be there and the posture should be right. Because if they move, the posture is gone. So he says, don't use your imagination because the lines are gone. You just leave it at that. That is why your hand becomes faster because you'll have to get the entire posture in one line.
Okay.
And that is how we studied the form. And this is what even in olden days, when our own this earlier they were muralists. We didn't have anything on paper. So that earlier people, what they did, they used to draw lines. They used to observe. If the peacock is there, they'll draw that in about 3 lines. You can see how fast they were when they were doing the lines. So it is a learning process which starts very early and it goes on and it never stops. That is how much drawing it takes. And then slowly you learn about the Renaissance painters. And then there are so many isms which later cropped up the Impressionism, Dadaism, Fauvism, and this
Mm.
kind of thing. You learn along the way. You have to keep track. You learn, try to see. I've done Van Gogh type of painting with Hanuman as the subject. So it's changeable. You always you learn the technique from some other subjects. And then I happened to visit when I was about 10 years, 12 years old. The family is taken to the Jayachamrajendra Art Gallery in Mysore, where
Mm.
we have the Ravi Verma works. See, that was the core point where it made a drastic change in the idea of drawing itself. Because they were huge, about 6 feet by 5 feet paintings, huge,
Mm.
realistic oil painting, and it felt so real that you would like to do that. So that was the beginning of entry into the serious drawing. And there
Okay.
was also Salarjung Museum in Hyderabad, where there are marble statues and all that. So this you learn from so many things along the way.
Okay.
So that's
When did your formal training start? At what point did you start a
no,
formal engagement?
no. I have not gone to any formal art
Formal.
school. No,
Okay.
it's just my practice.
Okay.
So
Uh,
I actually, sorry to interrupt. Uh, when Bharanidharan Sridhar asked me
Ah,
to draw, I
ah.
said, "Sir, I'm not trained for that. This is new to me." I said. He told me, "This world is your university. Go and learn." He said. So that made a strong impression, and I started learning more and drawing more. Yeah,
Okay.
please.
Could you tell us about a little bit about your other gurus as your journey progressed? Yesterday we had a brief
Yeah,
conversation about some of them. Yes.
yeah. The first was my school teacher, B.A. Reddy. So I always start with him because he made such an impact, and his art teaching was completely different. See, we think that some teacher should teach you so that he goes to the board and he draws this, you draw this. It's not like that. He never touched the board for almost 4 years. I was under him. He used to just inspire. And art teaching is completely different. See, there in a class of say 30, 35 people,
Hmm.
some people will be interested in art, some people will be interested in music, some people will be interested in sports. So we had all these rooms separately. So I said those interested in music can go to the music room. Those interested in sports can play music. Only those interested in art can stay here. So that is the idea I learned from Sri P. A. Reddy that you have to know that if all people cannot draw until they say about 8 years of age. Everybody is an artist. All children can draw, and it will be beautiful because it's so spontaneous. But then what happens is when studies come in, they stop and it is sorts of box them down. So that is first B.A. Reddy. Then after coming here, it was Bharanidharan. Uh, and then slowly, what happened is I was interested in, and I'll have to tell you about the practices we had in Hyderabad, where people used to come and read Bhagavatam, Narayaniyam, and all that. There were story narrations, Saptaham, and all that. And there were also these bhajans, Ekadashi ones, Margari bhajans were there. It was a colony where all of them participated. So early morning bhajans and all we had. So, and I was in close quarters with these people when they actually performed abhishekams to their small idols and all that. And although we were not interested, you see, I had to face the exams and all. Usually, this comes during the exams, half yearly exams, and like that. I was not interested, but my observation was always keen. So all these were noted down. And some of the gurus they asked. I mean, one was Angre Periva.
Hmm.
He asked me to draw Krishna. That is the first time somebody asked me to do Krishna. And I drew it for him from a calendar picture and I gave it to him with a small watercolor. And that was the beginning of my Krishna. These things were sort of ingrained. After that is Angare Periva or Tiruvallikeni Periva. I mean, there are Kalyana Ramashastri, all the same person. He made a very big impact on the spiritual side of things. And after coming here, it was Bharanidharan, Madan,
Hmm.
and in cartooning. It was then I went into political cartooning. That is where the real crux of learning was there,
Hmm.
because cartooning taught to learn the predicament of each person. Because you'll have to go for facts, know
Hmm.
history, and then depict the predicament in a funny way. I mean, the truth will be there, but a humor alongside will be an added advantage. So that was how cartooning was helpful to work fast on ideas. See, there is a predicament. You need a visual because we are not. It's not a storybook where one person tells this thing, some air balloon, and another person replies. That is not a cartoon. It has to be
Right.
visual.
Yeah.
So the visual element and depicting things visually,
Hmm.
it taught me a lot. Of course, it was negative because we are picking the loopholes, criticizing. So that is a different matter. but the predicament to be explained to them needed some thoughts. How can
Mm.
you use any phrase? How can you use stories to bring it into picture? So that was the
So it's
then
very interesting you use the word predicament.
yes,
Um, so I see that there is a very close engagement you have with the world of bhava and rasa, because you are
yes,
constantly responding to the human condition,
exactly.
and then you have to give form to it and a certain hue and a tone to it. It may be humor, it may be something else later on that
Yes, yes,
you choose, but
yes,
basically you as a person, you are I see that in your journey you have given
yes,
repeatedly form to this whole world of rasa and bhava.
yes.
uh, Now
The
it is with Krishna, but you seem to have done it with just the common people and the world around you
no,
all the
see,
time.
this is when it is. Sorry to interrupt. See, this is visual language. When it is visual language, we can't write the name of the person. It has to be the resemblance has to be that the reader should immediately guess that it's this person. So this drawing, the musicians and all taught me resemblance, because when the person is singing, there are so many distortions when they use the bhava. When they sing, it is so much of distorted that the resemblance will go. You can't say it's the person. So you'll have to get the person and his bhava and his mannerisms right. So just by even if your face is removed, you can say that it is so and so. It is possible. So that practice, because 15 years I've done music academy and the music season sketches about 15 years. So that strength and going there, see, we go to parliament, you sketch, you go to election meetings, you go to election tours. So there were all this, we pick up all the nuances of how this happens.
Mm.
So it's a continuous process of drawing and learning. So this was actually a training field for me to get into this main area of real art,
Okay.
because that is for a living. That is for a living. It is not my. I'm apolitical that way. I'm not attached to any one particular idea and all that. I am an observer, and I comment on it. And that is my position. But here, it is totally different. So when you come to, and I'll tell you about the gurus also.
Mm.
That much was on cartooning, and I will also include Gokulu, who taught me drawing. He was both. He was good as an artist and a cartoonist. So he taught me a lot. And then here, the basic. I was interested in Ramayana in the beginning.
Mm.
I used to draw sketches, and my father's Acharya was there, who was the editor of Vishmapriya at that time, and I used to send my illustrations to Ramayana through him, because
Mm.
I'm not very conversant with the language and other how to treat them, how to. I mean, it requires a certain respectfulness which I didn't have at the time,
Mm.
and I used to send sketches, but 3 or 4 weeks later, I mean, three times I sent the sketches. He didn't say anything. He didn't comment anything. He was Purisai Swami, Purisai Krishnamacharya Swami,
Mm.
and he diverted me. He didn't say anything, but he diverted me to draw the biographies of Ramanuja and Swami Deshika. And that went on for about 2 years. And then sometime in 2000, 2001, 2002, when he was coming out and I was going to pick up my father from his home, he came out and he told me, he just didn't start and do anything. He just said, "You draw Krishna." This is what he said.
Mm.
So that was my mantra and that became a mantra for the rest of my life. So I started immediately. I came back and I started drawing Krishna. That is how it was, and you learn so much about it. You see, Krishna is. Some people say so many things about his character. you believe that. But until you go into Bhagavatam, you will not understand. Because it is Bhagavatam where Krishna is sung in his full, that is the qualities of him, who he was, and that. And again, the next guru was Kripalu Maharaj from Mangad in Allahabad, near Allahabad. And I used to, when you're not happy, because in the political life, in cartoons and all, there'll be a lot of depression when you don't get an idea. So I used to look for solace somewhere. It was this Kripalu Maharaj's lectures which gave me that thing which I needed, peace. And that is when Krishna began. It all came together, and I started Krishna in 2002. That's the journey.
That is a journey. I see that when I say guru, you move from painting to your spiritual
Yes.
journey, and all the gurus are all part
Yeah.
of the same journey. You do not
Yes.
separate your painting
Yes.
and your deep connection with Krishna, and your journeys just become one and the same.
Yes.
I want to ask, if you will allow me, a question about within this sort of idea of everything becoming one. A very practical question, because I am a musician, I'm not a painter, so I want to understand really. Also, maybe there are people in the audience who might have this question. When you make a commitment like, I will paint Krishna every day, right? Now, what is the process? How do you arrive at that image? Is it something that is as sort of ordinary as planning something? You think about a theme, because I see your themes are very different. The stories are very different in what you paint. How do you arrive at it? Or is there actually a slightly sort of a process which is on the spiritual side that happens?
You have to understand that first. It becomes very difficult. If you're doing it as a storyline, that is different. But this process of doing it every day is a normal process, because I used to draw every day, whatever it is, because you have to keep practicing. It is like sadhana. You will have to keep on drawing, because you lose your touch. Say 1 week you're out of drawing, you lose your touch. You will not get there. So you will have to be at it every day. It is like riyas, like for music itself. I mean, you have to keep practicing, and it is a part of that system. And another thing is, I start very early in the day, say 4 o'clock, 4:30, or even 3 o'clock. And during the Thiruppavai days, it is very, very tough. You sleep at around 1 o'clock, get up at 3 o'clock. So it was a tough time reading, because we have to read so much, and in that also we have to be accurate. Uh, so you'll have to take notes, and then you'll have to come to the basic idea and then draw. That is for Thiruppavai alone. That is the whole month of Thiruppavai is nothing can be planned. It is what it comes on that particular day. But generally for Krishna, it is just a blank sheet of paper. You just stare at and begin the line. And I tell you, it is not within me. It just comes. I'm not in control of anything, because the turns you take in this paper will tell you what is the subject, because you never know what comes out of it. I leave it at that. I cannot explain more. It is not explainable at all. I don't know how it comes. It is God's grace.
No, which is exactly why I asked the question, because it needs to be said.
Yeah.
One might assume that there is a process that can be explained or understood, or I'm sure there is a way in which to explain it, but I think for the artist who's experiencing it, it is in Tamil there is they say Kandavar Vindilar, Vindavar Kandilar.
So
People who
really,
see cannot speak about it, and often people who can speak about it very elaborately perhaps have not seen.
Yeah.
So it is a very, I can empathize that it's a very difficult journey once you're forced to speak about it. Um,
Yeah.
but I actually wanted to ask you and for you to be able to say that. You were speaking
Yeah.
about a particular guru, S. Rajam sir. Can we sort of
Yes.
back to him a
Yeah.
little bit?
He's the main person. Say, uh, the how I came to Rajam is, see, my father used to read the Ramayana every day, and it was a big book, and I don't know much about it. I went. He showed me the drawings, the plates. Rajam sir had done that. I don't know it was Rajam, but I was so attracted by the very rhythmic lines.
Mm,
It was something which I have not seen earlier. It made such an impact on me. I was just about 12 years old at that moment. In fact, I drew that Rama Pattabhishekam when I was 13. Um, so I had it in mind, but I never knew he was S. Rajam. My father said that is S. Rajam. It was written there underneath. He had the signature there. So it was always there to meet Rajam and all. Then after coming to Madras, I found that he was the brother of Balachandra, elder brother of Balachandra. And I wanted to meet him. I didn't know and I didn't ask anybody. And it so happened that in Krishna Sabha, when I was drawing, I think it was Samangudi Kacheri or Lalgudi's Kacheri, I don't remember. Uh, Rajam sir came there with PB Srinivas and they sat beside me because I was sitting in the pit, in the front seat where usually press reporters get that area. And he sat beside me. I knew immediately that it was S. Rajam sir. So after the Kacheri was over, that is after S. Rajam has spoken to all the dignitaries and all that, I turned to him and said, this sir, um, I'm a fan of yours. I like your drawings. I've copied your works. I would like to learn from you. Can I come and meet you sometime? So he said it is there in opposite Kabali Koil. That's Nadu Street is there. You come and meet me. He said. I immediately went, and that's how it slowly began. But it was not a formal teaching of sorts. We
mm,
used to go and discuss. In the sense, he had a lot of drawings in his cupboard, and I used to pick them up one by one. I used to say, I have particular pictures. So I used to bring him in a phone and I used to tell him this picture is. He said the original is here. He just checked it back. And then he told me the process of how he drew.
mm,
Say he was a 1944 batch art. Um, he was in the Madras Art School under Devi Prasad Roy Chaudhary, who was the principal there. Actually, there were tiffs between them both because he wanted academic drawing and Rajam sir wanted Indian art. So this is what he specified very, very strongly that Indian art is much greater and it is so unique in its form that you don't have. There is so much of beauty in it.
mm,
And he only directed me to Indian art. And then he told me about chitrasutra, Vishnu Dharmottara, and all this. And then from that, the rules of painting can be learned from there. That is what has to be done in an Indian context. How are things to be portrayed? Uh, that is, if it's fine art and all, and what are the things you'll have to keep in mind when drawing. So all this he taught me. And then he also told about the Ajanta murals. He told his own works in about the Dashavataram was there in S. Balachandra's house. He took me there to show it around. And he told the symbols which he used and about the specific references we have to make and study a lot. In fact, in one of the paintings I brought from him on the Ashtalakshmi, in one of the pictures, he had all the references of what should make all these Lakshmis. He had written it down on the back of the painting itself.
Okay.
So that is the type of referencing we have to do. We have to learn that, and then we can use the style in our own way. But the facts, that is what I said, what they have in this hand, in the four hands, and
Mm.
what does it mean, and what are the other symbols we use to represent that. So then we can take a liberty, but the ideas should be definitely there. You can have your liberty to change the symbol if it is new, yes, and you can adapt it to your circumstances. That is fine. But I think the basic facts and the ideas should not be changed. That he told me. Never tamper with that.
Okay. Now, this is a very interesting way in which you have learned, which
Yes.
today for students who actually go to a fine arts college or a more formal institution will find it very challenging to learn in this process,
Yeah.
because so much of instruction happens. That
Yes.
learning
That
through
is.
conversation, learning through observation, learning through meditation, also, uh, and I really want to ask you this, is self-awareness, both in terms of how you experience an idea which you will
Uh,
represent, like Krishna, or a musician, or a game of cricket, or whatever. Is Are you aware of your own emotions towards these objects when you
uh,
actually, is that a part of your form giving? Because your attachment to the line as being sacred, that is very clear, um,
yeah.
but you must have an inner idea and an inner form and a connection
Yes.
with it. If you're able to
Yeah.
speak about that, it will be nice.
I'll tell you about that. See, when we are reading the Ramayana or the Mahabharata or whatever picture, I am there in the field. I am there. Like if it is Devaloka, I am there. I have to create an entire thing in the mind. I am there. Rama is going there, meeting Ahalya in the court. Then what is the props? What are the props which make you there? That is the physical part of it. Number two, what is each person's bhava? For example, Vishwamitra, when he comes there, Dasharatha's bhava, that is how they react to situations. Like Dasharatha, he falls at Vishwamitra's feet, asking, no, no, no. See, that is the predicament. Here also, it's the predicament. So, how will you describe that? So, it is a question of bhava, particularly, it is like acting. And another thing about what chitrasutra says is an artist should not just learn the techniques of art and neglect the other art in the process. See, here it says there has to be a unity of dance, drama, sculpture, architecture, and all should come together. Dance specifically, because dance and art are two sides of the same coin. Because they all convey ideas and bhava without uttering a word. Although they have music behind it, it has to be bhava, which is coming from within. So now I'll come to the idea of uh, drawing what I do. See, for example, in Thiruppavai, the idea of getting up early is it is Brahma Muhurtam, they call it. And the ideas are fresh. You don't have any memories from the earlier day or something. You're totally engaged in what you want to do. So the ideas will be fresh and the bhava will be at its purest level when you are doing it early morning. That is one thing. And that is the particularly sketching part of it where everything is finalized. When you go to music, say, for example, you want to do the coloring and all that, it is just you're continuing to complete the picture. So you can have your music according to the taste, according to the talent, the tala, according to the because again another comes to mind is rhythm is follows the speeches also. There is a rhythm. I'll tell you one instance. There was a Kacheri of U. Srinivas in the academy, and this Kriti was Malayane. See, after many years, I revisited Music Academy. I didn't draw anybody personally. I went into the Kriti drawings to see what I can do because they will sing it in, say, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour. But this was a Ragam Tanam Pallavi. So his Malayane was there. I had a small sketch of this Tirupati Srinivasa, and he's bending down to bless somebody. See, that is the idea. But you see, this deity has got a lot of ornaments.
Mm.
You see, I can't do that in that particular. I thought we'll go home and sketch. But what happened is, it was Ragam Tanam Pallavi. So you have the beats. Usually was turned around and he was is encouraging the mridangam, and that thing was going on, that goes on a circle. So that gave me the opportunity to draw the ornaments in the thala, according to the thala. So even if you do without thala or have a scale and then measure, it will not come so quickly and so perfectly. The rhythm is the secret. So the rhythm is there in sketching, and you have to follow that rhythm. When the line continues, it has to continue throughout. So it doesn't stop in between and leave it continue. A straight line without a break is always a pleasure to watch. It's like poetry. So very sincerely, very utmost connoisseurs, they like the line more than the color and shading and power. That is, the line is at the top. And Madras School is known for the line.
So
okay,
what you're no, it's very interesting because you're talking about music. I'm able to visualize what you're saying, which is what is mediating between the idea and the form is the line, but the line is actually representing the strength of your practice. Because if your hand is not steady, if your body is not toned to hold your pen, then the line is going to be not straight. Not going
you're conscious. Yes. If you're conscious also, it will not come. That is, the movement itself will make you do that. After that, I can't force myself to do anything. It has to be done on the moment. It is,
which is a form of yoga.
Yeah, it is.
It is a form of yoga in itself. So the yoga is not actually just in the theme of what you're doing. It is actually in the doing.
Yes.
It's in how you breathe. It's in how you sit. It's in how you hold your pencil. It's in how you look at your paper and how everything comes together. At that moment.
Sorry, again, there is a small point I'd like to make. In the Walt Disney animations, they call like dance. We also have this, and we dance through the pencil. That is what makes it an animation, because you are moving. Because the animation is a series of drawings, you'll have to show movement with that. So dance is the only thing which relates, which becomes common in this circumstances. When we draw a body, the anatomy and all will be there. In a lot of these temple sculptures, you'll see that anatomy is absolutely perfect because it is, grammar is there. It is mentioned in the chitrasutra. That is so much form. They actually have the measurement in this coconut leaves. They will just bend it, and that is the scale they have for the proportions. But here it's not like that. In sculpture and all, that becomes prose. But here, when the lines should become poetry, we don't do anatomy just like the Westerners. We have beautify it. That is, there's a difference between Michelangelo sculpture and Bernini sculpture. We have a poetry in that. So we try to make it refined, and that is where the difference lies between the East and the West.
Okay. No, this is very interesting because can we go a little bit more into chitrasutra to understand?
Yeah.
So in music, for instance, we have that very distinct two elements of Lakshana and Lakshya.
Yeah.
We don't need to think of them as theory and practical, which is what has unfortunately happened today. It is almost like there is a given map which will show you the directions, which will guide you,
Yes.
and within that you have free will. Within
Yes.
that, you play around, and that is what creates form. And,
Yes.
and that is the Alapa.
Alapa. Yes.
That's the Alapa. So, in your Krishna for today, would you liken it to an Alapa? And if that's a yes, then I have a follow-up question.
Alapa is an abstraction. Like you have a song, and the grammar of that particular raga is embellished. That is where your manodharma comes in. Here also, like you have a certain situation. Here, colors are the ragas. Yeah, the palette, that is the kind of palette you use. You use warm colors or earth colors or bright colors. It depends on the situation. You have dark colors for certain areas, and the theme, the mood of the theme, the colors change. So that is one thing. And then here also you have symbols for suggesting. See, if there is a scenario, what kind of mood the person is embellished by other things. There should be a swan or a moon or dark night, very peaceful night, and it changes according to them. When there is a turbulence, then the waters will be there. So many other things like fluttering of the monkeys roaming, jumping around. So from the scenario, we can see the mood. It conveys the mood. This is and for example, if there is a front, you have already finished the picture. The other things, the drawings, we draw designs and that kind of thing, which is an embellishment, which only reflects the mood in the front area. So that is called, we call it the abstraction part of it. Like, you have designs, columns, those kind of things. It is a part of design. And the thing is, when you elaborate, say, for example, Thiruppavai is a kind of, it is just jumping into the divine pool. It is, you'll have to drown into it. Alvar is, the word itself is, you just drown into the beauty of that bhakti. That is Alvar's. So from there, you can see how effectively we can use. I have actually shown Andal diving into the pool, which is formed like Narayana. So these are things where you can adapt and take it forward. The idea can be taken forward. So it is what we call manodharma. So you can take your creativity. It may not be earlier done, but you have to communicate. So you do it. So it is also in the same manodharma only. It can be beyond what is not already represented.
You said you likened colors to raga.
Yes.
So colors have lakshanas?
Yes. For example, you have this Vidya, and there is a, let's come back to the tattva part of it. See, in color, in this, we have this Vidya, that spectrum we have from violet, indigo, blue, orange, red, green, etc. They are extremes from violet to red. See, we have and this can be termed under this triguna. That is, triguna means again red, again yellow, white. But actually, when you see the spectrum and it's like a pendulum, it is this trigunatmakam which is creating all these turbulences in society and the world. It is this trigunas which is the basic for having all these turbulences because of wants or not getting their wants or shortage of one. See, the of thing needs shortage of needs. So all these things create a problem. Now, how do you depict this? So then this color scheme. And another thing is, this is also related to dance and drama, because when you're all these folk dances, you take Kathakali for example, the hero is always green in color. Black is Tamasika Gunam, red is Rajasika Gunam. Okay, these are the basic tenets, and you play with these things. So the villain will always be in black, the hero is always being green, and in the spectrum of colors, the green is at the center, with Gogh, G is at the center. And that is why G is stable, whereas others are not. They always keep moving, but green is always be in the center, which is stable. And this is why Rama is also known to be green in color because of the stability. He's a pure sattva. That is Sthita Prajna, they call it, they call it Sthita Prajna Ka Bhasha, in Gita it comes. So this is the why he's called green in color. It's not very physically green in color. It's for you to suggest the gunas of it. So like that, colors have a bhava. Red means anger, tamasika guna, in this gunam, rajasika gunam. Kumbhakarna is black, tamasika gunam. So like that, we have all these gunas.
So an understanding of this will also allow people who are viewing the painting to better connect with the bhava that you are trying to represent.
Yes, it is there. We have to keep observing.
Generally, that knowledge is not there in society among people.
No, we have to keep watching and observing.
Okay. Is there a way in which, because if we want to connect better to these themes, to actually gain from these stories which are being said through the visual form, then isn't it, is there some way in which you think we can create a way in which people can know these things? For instance, in music, we know that there are Vivadi mela-s which are like that. They are tamasik. So, so you create a certain kind of tonal quality around you, an environment around you when those tones and those frequencies are sung, and which is very similar to what you're saying. So there is a shastra framework within which these things could be approached as well.
Yes, there are.
But it is not generally known, and hence when somebody views a painting, it is only the theme and a very small part of the story that people end up understanding.
No, unfortunately, this reading habit has gone. And the such kind of drawings, people are not, unless they are ordained, they don't take up this profession. And there is a lot of reading to do, and your reading is hardly very negligible. Even if you're reading 24 hours, I need 3 janmas to actually try what I am doing, because there is so much of written ideas that our ancestors were so generous to give all this free, and they have just given all that they can in a easy for us to understand. And there is nothing for us we need to know more about. We need not go further and research and all that. We have to understand what they have already done. It will make our lives better. That is the need of the day. And there is another thing I want to tell about Chitrasutra and the other commentators. S. Rajam asked me to follow Ananda Kumaraswamy, Stella Kramrish, and C. Shivaramurthy. See, these 3 people are generally the persons who have commented on Indian art to the utmost. I mean, they were collectors of art. They understand the Vedas, scriptures. and they had done so much of work. If you read the forewords of all these books, Chitrasutra and things, you will know how much they have studied Indian art. You will be amazed to find that we don't even know a little bit of them. So there is so much of literature available, so much of things we can do. When you go to a temple, we don't see, we just go to the deity and we come back with some prasadam. See, this is not the idea of a temple. See, for example, Lakshmi, they say it is Gaja Lakshmi. But what is this Gaja? Two elephants. They actually the clouds, the nimbus clouds, and they shower water on her because Lakshmi is the water element. So these are things you'll have to understand. So who is the water element? Who is? So there are so many things we have to learn, and there are symbols like when you're dealing with characters, like in the Mahabharata, who is Dharmaputra, who is Bhishma, who is Pandu, who is Dhritarashtra, and everything is a character, it is symbolized. So one quality of a person is symbolized in that. So we have to understand the characters. Number two, their attributes. Once we understand the idea, the story fades. I mean, the story disappears because we are stuck with the idea, which is more important. See, that is for, it is a sort of allegory. Our acharyas have put all these stories together, whether it is known to the common man. See, it is not restricted to any person. Only the scriptures are restricted, the stories are not. And that is the idea. They put all that is important for the common man. It has been told as stories. All they have to do is read it. It is every part of your human system is dealt with. Any part. That is the Mahabharata. So Ramayana is one thing. Ramayana is the first composition by Valmiki, and that is a meaning of the Gayatri. We'll understand only when the Vishwamitra tale comes in, when he tells about Rama, about the Gayatri, and once that Gayatri is finished, the Vishwamitra is not there. So like that, right, and that Ramayana is a very, very, very serious story. And it tells about the human predicament, and because where Rama acted as the human. So you will see, he will not see him do what Krishna did in the, Kali Yuga, the earlier Dwapara Yuga. So Krishna was different. So that is why they say we follow Rama, but just follow the teachings of Krishna, because you cannot behave like him or do what he did. So again, in the Bhagavata, the symbolism, I'll come to the symbolism part because that is the crux of all that I'm doing. Because the symbolism is very strong in all these aspects. Because even in, you go to Sanskrit, all that is hidden in the names itself. Dushasana, administrator. So like that. So when they say Trinavarta, Krishna kills that Trinavarta. So when you see that Trina means grass, Avartana means repetition, again and again and again. When the grass turns around and around and around, it becomes a whirlwind. That is the Trinavarta. Here, that small grass is likened to the mind. You have a small worry in your mind and you keep on repeating, it becomes a whirlwind. You are unable to stay where you are because the whirlwind will take you away. See, the thing is, you have to make a parallel and then read the structure. Then otherwise, you will not understand what they are trying to say.
Which is actually what
Yes.
Rishi Markandeya has said in Vishnu Dharmottara, that you have to start with in order to actually, give form to the divine. You have to know all the art forms, because over and over and over again you're going to encounter the same process, whatever the material form that you're giving, whether it's in stone or color or sound or anything.
Only the medium changes. The ideas are the same.
And the material changes. The ideas, and perhaps if you go through it in over and over again using several media and several material forms, then that ease
Yes.
perhaps comes, which is why we're always encouraged to learn more than one art form.
Yes. Exactly.
So the social aspect, the social dimension of maybe a parent telling a child, learn dance and learn music and learn a percussion instrument, learn painting, learn this. Unfortunately, sculpture and painting is not there. Painting,
No,
yes, still we still are telling our
actually,
children
the parents
that.
can. Sorry, the parents in this parents cannot do anything. See, if they many people come,
Mm,
parents they think they want to see this TV has is playing spoil sport. They want to immediately gain fame, and it's not that. There is a lot of work behind this. You just can't just by doing 2 3 paintings you cannot have a show. It is not like that. So this you have to remove the commercial aspect of it before you actually do things. It's not easy. The will, you will have to have the will to undergo all this.
mm,
You may not get paid. You may not get. In fact, in Rajasthan there is a practice. In
mm.
these olden days, they will draw everything. They will not draw the eye. You will have to pay. After that, only they will draw the eye and give you. So this is
Yeah.
a very
All
famous. Yeah,
Patachitra painters, I think, have this
yeah,
have this
they
habit.
do.
I have also seen this in
Yeah,
Telangana. The eye will be
it
blank
happens.
until you that
Yeah,
end day when you give the sambhavana, then the eye will be painted.
definitely.
I've
So that is,
actually seen this. This is wonderful.
they
Uh,
call that the Netron Milana. Actually, in Kerala, they do it separately. They call and make it a special function. This haratis and all are made. The
hmm,
priest comes there, and then when the eyes are made.
yes.
So that is Netron Milam. That is a separate this thing.
Yeah, because it is a point at which a relationship is formed between
Yes.
the divine
Yeah.
and the bhakta. Because the idea is that the divine also sees you back, right? It's not you
Yeah.
are just witnessing something like a
Yes.
spectator. It is a point where that relationship starts. So I actually want to go back a little bit and pick up on something that you said about the guna,
Yeah.
um, and uh, and how you move into uh, looking and learning symbolisms,
Yeah.
iconographic and other kinds of symbolisms, using it to suggesting a story, suggesting the interplay of gunas. Because you said very clearly, it's no longer the story. After a while, it's just how the gunas are playing with each other,
Yeah.
and that is actually the core of any story, and which is what you want people to have an anubhuti of, an experience of. Um, but the minute you say this, that also means that it can happen in a context where this knowledge exists. Symbolisms of the things that you're trying to suggest.
Mm.
What happens, and now I'm going to come to Krishna for Today, which you're doing every day in
Yeah.
times of extreme accelerated change, where
Mm.
contexts are changing so far, our connections with these ideas are becoming slightly more fragile. And I also see that sometimes your Krishna it looks very modern in that sense.
Interesting. Yeah. We'll have to keep changing. See, we keep him in that same yellow dhoti and panche, and you know, people that they refuse, they don't want to be associated. We have a distaste for anything old. Uh, it is sorry, unfortunately, that is a fact now. We can't change them, but we can change ourselves and make it possible. We can change some of what we can without disrupting the idea of Krishna. I mean, that is what I'm doing. See, he will still have the Tribanga, he will still have his flute, because each one they have all sort of they have made this a symbol because everything has a meaning in it. The flute, because it goes through a lot of pain because he has to, and only when you go through that much of pain, you will have the credibility to get into near his mouth. It is very difficult. And another thing is the flute is hollow. We'll have to empty everything from ourselves. That is the idea of the flute. Number two is he is always smiling and you allow the music to flow. You just be there. You don't nothing. And number three, the trigunas. He stands in a tribanga. This bhanga means you are breaking something. That is in all these he is a curvature that is called the tribanga. When he stands in that, he is cutting all the trigunas. There is neither the sattva neither the rajoguna, nor the tamaguna. That is when he becomes a nirguna Brahman. That is the idea of his tribanga. See, these people have coined this much centuries earlier. We'll have to understand that. And that is the idea of this Tribanga. That is why Krishna is portrayed always with this. Rama is always stands straight. See, that is the usual normal because he's, for what you call, for postures, he may stand in Tribanga, but he is always straight. Rama is always straight. Krishna is always straight. Nothing is straight. Even his name, Rama, is straight. Krishna has so many half notes and aksharas. It is not a straight akshara. So the totally different personalities we have. So at that there is lot of things we have to learn. That is, and each day you read, there is so much more to learn. There is so many books written on it. Not only Chitrasutra, you have the Vishnu Dharmottara itself, of which Chitrasutra is a part. And Chitrasutra says, if you have left out something in Chitrasutra, you go for Natyashastra. And Natyashastra, if you leave out something, you can come back to the Chitrasutra because they are all so aligned. And again, so you have the Kala Tattva Kosha and these Agamas. And for sculptures, you have separate this thing. I'm not doing deities. I want drama. And talking about drama, let me tell you what I learned from there is this Gita picture which we all know that Krishna is there in the chariot and Arjuna is turning and he is surrendering. And this four horses are there. See, this is the general idea of the Bhagavad Gita. There was one day I picked up a book from the platform. It was collected works of Swami Vivekananda. And I just, after coming home, I just took a random page and I started studying. I usually never read from first to last, but in that particular page, there was this talk on an artist comes and he presents Vivekananda with a painting of the Bhagavad Gita. So Swamiji gives it back without saying anything. The student actually says, no, Swamiji, you have to comment on it because I would like to know your opinion. So what Vivekananda says, Swamiji says, he says, I will tell you the actual fact, but you will have to listen without any, that is, you shouldn't feel hurt. Then he says, what you have drawn is the wrong kind of chariot. It is through the back they enter, not through the side. See, this is the kind of chariot which they had in those times. So you will have to know about that. What is the chariot? What will be there in the chariot? And what is the Gita about? He says, what do you learn from this? He says, the horses are your indriyas. They are jumping out, uncontrollable. And Krishna is holding them all together. Even they are jumping up, their nerves are coming out. They are so very volatile. I mean, they are not able to hold them together. So that is the idea of this Indriyas. He's holding it and he's turning around to Krishna, to Arjuna. And he's starting the dialogue with him. Now, This is the Gita. That is, there should be drama in a painting. Any static painting which doesn't make you move or see it again the second time, it doesn't attract. You'll have to have drama and also poetry in it. See, and the facts also should be there. You'll have to do your homework for that. So a lot of study goes before you do a painting. There has to be a composition, and the composition begins with the navi. They call the center of the picture. So you take any sculpture, you have it always begins with the navi. That will be at the center of the picture. From there, the diagonals are drawn, and then the picture is composed. That was how it was done in all sculptures and murals earlier. So even now in the Mahabalipuram, Mahishasuramardini and all, you can actually see the straight lines. It is absolutely perfect. So this is the composition. This is how you will have to work on the compositions. So there are a lot of things that can go on and on. I don't know about the time.
No. I mean, as long as you can go on, we can listen. Perhaps we need an entire, one more conversation on the grammar of painting, because I think knowing it then will create an atmosphere of familiarity, which will make the anubhava of the painting, it will heighten the whole thing. In music, we have the same challenge, which is whether to sort of look at the audience and say that this is what they understand, so let's give them what they want, or to say that let us try to create a more vibrant context for what exists, because what exists is just so immense. That is just the tip of the iceberg that we have really touched with any of our conversations like this. So perhaps we can come back with more questions and have a deeper conversation on the sutra.
There is lots.
And
only thing is,
you mentioned Kumaraswamy. It is also something that I'm very engaged with, and so maybe another conversation on Anand Kumaraswamy and the doors that he opens for us.
Yes.
Because he is just pointing out to the many directions that we can take.
Very, very big people. There's so many are there. Kapila Vatsan is there in Delhi. So many people have written.
Yes.
There is a lot of literature on this.
Yeah.
We have to keep looking at it, because each place up to Angkor Wat, it is the same. Because Chinese are not much different. Japanese are not much different. It is all the East. There is only two kinds of art. One is the East and the West. Western is academic realism. This is poetry, the composition part of it. So I think there is a difference, but I think we have an upper hand in this. It's more poetic.
That's wonderful. So we've had a long conversation.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I'd like to express my gratitude to you for
thank you so much. Yes, thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, and this is also a request to the viewers to subscribe to the Atharva Forum YouTube channel, so that the forum can keep bringing to you more conversations like this. Thank you. Namaskar.